I'm Kiri.
I'm Meru.
I'm Panda Ponycat.
I am an Alice.
And this is Sheekery! Hype!
Hype. Tonight we are going to explore the need to chart the uncharted. Exploration, it's one of the biggest foundations of history. Expansion of territory, the need to push one's body beyond the limits. Boundless curiosity are the building blocks of humanity. If you've ever seen Top Gear, that voice would make sense. We've been talking a lot about space exploration the last couple weeks, but what about boldly going where no one has gone before but here on Earth? What about uncovering something that you thought was lost forever? Or what about going toe-to-toe with Mother Nature herself, which sounds like a terrible idea, to see if you can withstand the ends of the Earth. So today we're going to explore exploration.
Bum, bum, bum! I like it.
Wait, was that the wrong response?
I
We need pinwheels.
I just kind of imagine you like sliding down Everest or something. Like, I explored it, I'm all done. Whee!
Guys, I did the thing!
There should be a slide and a bouncy castle at base camp.
Oh my god, there
should.
should be a slide at a bouncy castle.
That's literally what they should do. They should send somebody up there and then unroll a gigantic inflatable slide, and then everybody who climbs it just gets to whoosh right down it. Like, that would be amazeballs.
Be like, congratulations, you didn't die. Here's your reward.
Right.
Is there a particular gas they could inflate that with that wouldn't just die because of the cold?
Oh, that's fair. That's a good question.
Oh,
We need
sciencey
science.
Stuff.
Tweet
God.
at us.
Someone needs to science the shit out of that.
Yes.
It is necessary.
Necessary.
Tweet us at the Sheekery and let us know.
Let us know.
So, Alice, you should kick us off then with the whole thing you wanted to talk about, because it was like, I don't know, I have stuff I can add on to it, and I kind of love the thing you're going after, so I think you should just kind of go with your exploration badness right now.
Okay, so really the whole reason I wanted to talk about this is because I wanted to talk about the Top Gear Polar Special. I feel like it totally counts as a science thing because they were technically the first people to get within a mile of the magnetic North Pole in a vehicle.
That is
the experts
impressive.
said they wouldn't be able to do it, but they did it, and they did it hilariously with a bottle of gin.
How else would
Which
you
is
get to the
apparently
North Pole?
okay, because as Jeremy says, he's like, don't write to me about drinking and driving because technically I'm not driving, I'm sailing.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So if you're familiar with Top Gear, Jeremy's kind of a lout, and James is the one that knows what he's talking about, and Richard is Richard, and I love Richard. But he had to go in a dog sled while Jeremy and James got to go in a Toyota pickup truck. So over the course of the episode, they race from, I think, Resolute, which was the town that is the furthest north, to the North Pole. So they set off in the truck, and Richard had his dog sled, and he was going with Maddie McNair, who is a super serial explorer, kind of a badass. And they were trying to see who would get there first. Can the car get there first, even though it has to stop constantly to dig its way around ice boulders or not be stuck? Or can the traditional dog sled team get there first?
You know, to be fair, they both sound just really cold. And I like cold, but I don't know if I like that much cold.
Oh, they were miserable. And it was great.
It's so
Your
much
pain
fun
is
to watch
amusing.
men suffer.
Part of the episode showed them getting ready for like cold weather stuff, and they had this like secret, this like Royal Secret Service, some SAS veteran come and show them like how to get the tent up in the wind and what to do if they fall in the water, and nobody wanted to jump in the water. So he like pushes Jeremy in And then when he gets out, he's like, roll in the snow. And they're like, yeah, roll in the snow because that's better than a big pink fluffy towel.
Oh my god. That's funny.
It was hilarious, and they were miserable the entire time and mostly drunk. And they were like, we're the only people that are going to have made it to the pole who didn't want to be there. And James even says in the beginning, he's like, let me make it clear now. I'm only here because the producer said I had to be. It's like one of my favorite quotes when he's going on about how much he hates everything. And he's like, I hate this. I hate the clothes with the rustling and the zippers. And I hate that. And I hate your stupid truck.
Wow.
So he was like having a great time, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they did it. They still made it. And it kind of I wonder if that's kind of what it was like, but with less gin for Robert Scott and Roald Amundsen. I don't know how to say this. Amundsen? I am not Norwegian. I cannot speak Norwegian.
What?
So I
Just slur it. Nobody will know.
Those dudes.
Those guys.
And the first people to ever reach the South Pole, it was a race between an Englishman and a Norwegian guy. And one made it and the other died trying. So
Yikes.
it kind of reminds me of that whole story, because the one guy took supply ponies instead of anything normal, and all the ponies obviously did not make it. They, like, one by one they died of exposure, and
Right.
the
Because
guys
they're
had to
ponies. And
sleds
it's
on
the
the road.
Antarctic.
where they finally got there, and the other guy had already made it there and had his flag planted like a month before, and then they did not make it back.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the Norwegian guy was well supplied and very well prepared, and
Oh yeah,
and
Sue's
the English guy was just a hot mess, wasn't he? Didn't he get sick like a couple times over that trip or something like that? Plus, yeah, like all his ponies died, because who the hell
Yes.
brings ponies to the Antarctic?
They were like frostbitten, delirious. They did not. It was not smart. Let's not
Yikes.
take ponies. But apparently, you can take a Toyota.
What
Hey,
what
you
if you
know-
put a sweater on the pony? Got it some
Little pony
snowshoes.
sweater.
Little
I
pony
feel like it would
sweater.
have been Oregon Trail, and they would have just died.
But just not of dysentery, because, you know, you're frozen. It's fine.
This is fine.
Yeah, the Norwegian guy, his whole journey was like super uneventful. Like, they planned it meticulously and just did everything right, and the other guy was just ridiculously unprepared.
So, since we're talking about the Arctic and the Antarctic, I kind of want to go back up north and talk about the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror. Do you know about the Franklin's Lost Expedition?
Oh yeah,
Right, where that guy was like trying to find the Northwest Passage, and like they took 2 ships up there. They had this super well planned like expedition going. There was only like this 70,000 square miles worth of like area left kind of unexplored up there, where there would possibly be a Northwest Passage. And so they're pretty sure that they were going to find a way through, and like halfway through the journey, they get stuck in ice, and both ships are completely like ice locked. They end up, one group tries to like walk off of the ships and walk to safety. The other group stayed with the boat. And then years later, they discover that nobody made it, by the way. None of them. They all died. Terrible deaths. Frozen, frostbitten, of scurvy and hypothermia and lead poisoning of all things, just to kind of cap off their awesome adventure. But also, there were reports of cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Perfectly normal.
yeah, some nom marks on the bones. It's fine.
like
That's
this is
great.
fine. Nom nom nom.
Tasty, tasty flesh.
Right, so maybe don't go to the Arctic unless you have a Toyota pickup truck.
Yeah, because I mean, 2 middle-aged men, deeply unfit, mostly drunk,
Mostly
made it.
drunk driving through the Arctic. Nailed it.
Well, and it's so funny. Like, most of the quotes that I use in my daily life come from this particular episode. They're like, they're stuck in the boulder field for like 3 days, and then he starts driving way too fast. He's like, "Will not be beaten by a dog."
Wow.
It's just, it's amazing.
So
But
when
you can totally get there drunk.
When did the Antarctic expedition happen?
That one I actually spilled blue cheese dressing on.
Well, there's that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
That's an interesting thing that just happened.
I was gonna mention, in I think it was
So
1845.
I feel like it was 1911. No, it's 1911. That is what that says.
That's awesome. So this particular, the Franklin's expedition was lost in 1845, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 1845. So that's interesting. Like over 50 years before the expedition to the Antarctic, which apparently was mostly a success for one guy and a terrible, terrible failure for one other. This whole
was an
crew of
amazing
two
success for the one guy.
It's like, nah, I'm cool.
And not at all the other one.
The other guy is really cool, like Frozen cool.
Like Sub-Zero cool.
Hey, man, let it go.
Just let it go.
I'm pretty sure he has.
He did not want to build a snowman, by the way.
No.
Oh my god. I think we're all done with the Arctic puns.
Well, we're not done with the snow.
We are not, in fact, done with the snow. Maru, do you want to talk about your expedition next?
I don't know, do I? I don't know. Yes,
Because
I
I
do.
feel like those people are
It might get a chilly reception. I don't know.
yours is cooler.
Oh my god. Have I told you guys today that I love you?
I don't think she can go now. I think she's all done.
My brain collapsed. I felt it. It avalanched inside my head.
I'm all out of snow puns, so
I'm never out of snow puns, but I figured I should stop if I ever want her to talk.
That's true. So my expedition
Just the tip of the iceberg.
All right. It's just oh god.
Oh no, not the tri-tip. Not the tri-tip. Not the tri-tip.
Oh god. I can't. I'm done. I forgot what I was going to talk about.
it was
what are we doing?
mountainous?
It was mountainous, yes. I have it right here in front of me and I can't. Words.
Wording is hard and stuff.
Word thing, mouth noises. So my expedition that I was going to talk about was about the first people to climb Mount Everest.
Ooh.
Yeah, so in let's see, it was Sir Edmund Percival Hillary, and what was his Sherpa? It was name Tenzin Norgay.
Sure,
Became the They became the first ones to ever reach the summit of Mount Everest on May 29th, 1953. And what was interesting, as I was reading about him, I think most people know that he was one of the first two people to climb Mount Everest, but he also, through two other expeditions, was the first person to reach both the poles and to climb Mount Everest.
Holy crap.
This guy's intense.
He's a glutton for snow punishment, that's for sure.
Apparently.
He is Elsa.
He is Elsa.
I would go to all the snowy places.
snow for an answer.
He just couldn't let it go.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is getting
I didn't plan to do this. This is amazing.
It's just what's happening. He apparently did a lot of mountain climbing. He made his first major climb in 1939 when he reached the summit of Mount Oliver, which I don't know if I know where that is. Olivier. It's spelled fancier than Oliver. And he also he served in the Royal New Zealand Air Force as a navigator during World War II. This guy was intense.
Because of course he did.
This guy was intense.
So
Oh
English
my.
people love to explore, apparently, is what I'm
They
hearing.
do. It seems like.
But he was actually prepared.
He was successful, right?
Yeah.
Because
He did
Franklin's
not die.
expedition, total failure. That other English guy to the Antarctic, complete failure. And then this guy, he's like, screw it, I'm gonna do all of it. Y'all can suck it.
Yep,
Yeah.
sounds about right.
L
And then
to
actually,
snow.
after his ascent of Everest, he apparently devoted most of his life to helping the Sherpa people
What?
and set up the
Oh.
Himalayan Trust, which he founded and is still in existence to this day,
Holy crap.
where they built schools and hospitals in Nepal for the people, for their society to help them.
Because
Do
again,
better.
why not?
I like that they're called the
Yeah.
Sherpa people.
Yeah.
I love that. It
The
makes
Sherpa
me
people.
feel like they just have all these blankets everywhere.
Oh my god, they totally
They
have blankets.
probably do. Why wouldn't they?
That'd be amazing.
I mean, they live by a really cold mountain.
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah.
lots
He
of
was actually a
blankets.
really cool guy that we totally like joked through and stepped on.
Right.
It
Right.
was,
That's a really cool story.
He's kind of amazing and we're kind of dicks. It's fine.
he's a pretty well. Rest in peace, Sir Edmund Hillary.
We
appreciate
salute
everything
you.
you've done.
We salute you. It's actually apparently it was argued for a while of who was first to summit Everest, because in 1924 there was an expedition. If you've ever heard of George Mallory and Andrew Irvin,
Oh yeah.
apparently they went. They said they were like, there was a huge storm coming in. They're like, "Yep, we're gonna go up there," and everybody was like, "Okay," but they never returned.
Oh.
So no one actually knew if they had made it to the top. But then after the clouds dispersed and everything, they found one of their bodies like on the north face of Everest. So it was like, don't really know. Did they make it up and then start to come back down? I don't know. So they still count.
Flag.
I feel like, it doesn't count if one, you don't plant the flag, and two, if you die.
Yeah.
Like, because then,
I
like,
feel like it counts if you die, but you have to plant a flag or take a photo.
Or your body just needs to be at the very top. Just like,
screening or it
You're
didn't
gonna
happen.
Die at the top.
Yeah, have your body be the flag.
Did you literally just call Screeny or it didn't happen on Everest?
Everything's
Yeah.
fine. It's totally fine.
Interesting side note of Everest. As of 2016, there were over 200 corpses on that mountain.
I was just gonna ask you about that. It was like,
Yeah.
isn't there like 200 some odd dead people like
Yep.
just hanging out up there?
Yep, and some of them are even serving as landmarks to help people find their way up.
Right? Wouldn't that be kind of
Like,
cool?
turn left at the dead guy.
That
His hand pointed that way.
if I ever died
It's the
doing
way-
something amazing, I want to be a landmark.
I feel like that's really the only way to do it.
Right. That seems
So-
awesome.
Just a bunch of dead people up there. Highly recommend, if you have not seen the movie Everest, to watch the movie Everest.
Oh my god, that movie was so good.
It's so great.
It's really good, and that it talks about the 1996 expedition with Rob Hall and what was this, Adventure Consultants, where they became super popular for companies to start taking amateur climbers.
No,
And-
that's a terrible.
Yeah, and it's not a happy feel good movie, but it's a good
no.
movie. Like it's a
Looking
It's a
for
terribly
happy
sad
ending,
movie.
this is a movie for you.
Yeah,
It's
those 200 dead bodies, that's real.
yeah.
It's the thing.
This
Pretty
is
sure
fine.
like 11 of them are from this expedition in particular.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but it's like, I mean, it's real. Like, I don't know why you would take amateur people up there. That just seems crazy.
Right.
But, like, I would never, I like to hike and stuff, but I would never consider I would die.
Again,
Nope.
I like
Nope.
the cold, but nope.
I hiked from Manitou Springs to the top of Pikes Peak, which took 10 hours, by the way, because I was the whiniest human.
I
And
have
I thought I was
driven,
gonna-
I have taken a train, but I've never taken my feet.
That was the only time I've ever been up there, was hiking, and I thought I'd die at the top. And like we were like I think it was a mile from the summit, like walking through the rocks. There's like really rocky at the top, and I sat down And Ben was like, "Are you gonna continue?" I was like, "No, just leave me here.
No.
Like,
I will die here.
Go on
I'm gonna die
without
here."
me.
And there was like lightning in the distance, like coming towards us. He's like, "We should probably." I was like, "No,
Nope, I'm done. I'm here.
I
I'm
will
here
serve
forever.
as a landmark."
Yes, my hopes will forever be here.
Turn left at the Meru. It's fine.
There
And I've
left
never-
at Maru.
Yeah, and I've never been back up there since. I was like, "No, it's good."
That's, I've the past couple weeks hiking with Goat, that's kind of where my brain has been. It's just like, just leave me here.
I don't even like hiking up my steps.
Let alone up a mountain.
This is why I like Top Gear. Deeply unfit, mostly drunk.
Right. He keeps telling me, he's like, we should do Pikes Peak. And I'm like,
Or we
My
could not.
car was in a cloud of smoke the entire way back down. I thought it was dead.
Yeah, I don't even like taking my car up there. Like, I don't want to go up there. I don't want to take my car up there. I don't want to be up there anymore. I'm all done. I've seen it twice now. I'm good with my life.
I've done the thing.
Plus, seriously, like, once you hit, like, tree line and above, I mean, it is a nightmare because it's windy and it's cold and it's just...
But it's so cool to see.
And you can't
It
breathe. There's no breathing. Even
Yeah.
for natives, there's no breathing at 12,000 feet.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. I don't need that.
We need
don't
oxygen up there.
I don't need oxygen.
All that
They have-
breathing, such a pain in the butt.
That's
know,
what
conveniently-
the song was about from like way long time ago. There was a song about how there's no air, and I feel like that's what it was about.
Conveniently, there is oxygen up there. They just in bottles if you need it
Right.
to breathe. But
Because
if you
do.
want to see the pretty sights, you can go on the website and then there's a camera up there that I just happen to know the person who installed that.
Yeah, there's a camera up there. That's good enough.
Yes, you can see all the sights on their website without having to go all the way up there.
Without having to breathe the lack of breaths.
Yes.
The lack of
I'm
breaths.
honestly
Yeah.
curious, like, if they know the names of the dead bodies that are serving as landmarks on Everest.
I'm
You
sure
know,
they
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do. It just says some.
probably
serving.
had ID on them.
I'm sure they probably. It
I
doesn't
think
say
you
here
have
specific.
to sign a thing. It's like the trails where you have to sign a book to say, "Hey, I'm going up, so please notify my family if I'm not back."
Do you?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it is a mountain. Like, you just kind of, I don't know, go up the mountain.
I feel like for a lot of the more treacherous trails and stuff, you do have to like sign stuff like that, like,
Yeah.
or you have to have permits to go out into the thing so they can eventually start searching for your body.
Right, but again,
believe.
just like any other mountain, it's a mountain. You just, I mean, there's kind of two routes, but like, I
I'm
don't
trying
know.
to take like the mountain goat back door up the Everest, and I feel like
You're gonna
that's
try and take a Sherpa up the mountain, are you?
Oh
Is
gosh,
that
yes.
what's happening?
I think that would be fine.
Okay. Ponies? You want some ponies? Let's get you some ponies.
Again, I don't
Come
think
up with
ponies
some
are a good idea on Everest. I think they might need sweaters. They might need their own
Not
oxygen
Colorado.
tanks.
Most likely, yes. All these are accurate.
They also might be too fat for the little like ladder bridges that they have.
Oh,
Poor fat ponies.
Poor fat ponies.
Hey, fat pony.
Hey, fat pony, ram-a-lam. This is what we do with our lives. This is fine.
So I feel like from the top of the world, we now need to go to the bottom.
The bottom!
Whee! Now's your wee part. To the most epically tragic song ever.
Far, wherever you-
You want me to just turn it down and keep it in the background?
I mean, I guess I could. Because obviously, so one of my absolute favorite things in the whole wide world since I was like a little kid, I've been obsessed with the Titanic. And, of course, the ship itself was, a passenger ship. So that's part of exploring, I suppose, is people going from England to America.
Mhm.
And, of course, as everyone knows, they hit an iceberg, capsized, and everything died. And
Except
there
for
weren't enough. Except for Rose. She's never going to let go.
So I do
And,
want to point out,
Pushes him off the bike.
Rose is going to get us flagged on YouTube for copyright infringements.
This is fine.
Not if they can do the ones with the dragons.
I feel like just saying the word Rose is fine.
Because
Rose.
we're not claiming it.
But then, of course, because everyone was obsessed with the tragedy that was the unsinkable ship, finally someone was able to discover it. So it sank in April of 1912, and they weren't able to they didn't discover it until 1985 by a French-American expedition led by Jean-Louis Michel of Ifremer and Robert Ballard of the Woods Hole or Oceanographic Institution. Those words are hard.
Say that 3 times fast.
Right? When obviously they rediscovered the wreck, which was not actually close to where the coordinates that they said they were sinking at was. I want to say it was...
But there has to be some kind of drift. They have to allow for that.
Right. It was located 13.2 miles from the inaccurate position transmitted by the Titanic crew while the ship was sinking.
Plus, you figure as it breaks and floats down, because wasn't
Right.
half of it way far away from the other half of it?
Yeah, the two pieces. The debris field covers 5 to 3, a 5 by 3 mile square.
Wow.
So the actual, two pieces were about a third of a mile apart. The main pieces, and then obviously debris went everywhere.
Wow.
From just the utensils and all the things that fell out of it. They found shoes on the floor where someone's body eventually, the body itself has been decayed and eaten by fish and whatever else. But the shoes are still on the bottom of the ocean.
Is this the appropriate moment for the Circle of Life song?
Right. Oh my god. And then they ended up obviously now you can go to different museums and see some of the cool stuff that they've scavenged from the wreckage. Obviously they can't pull it out because it's been too degraded over the years. So they can't pull out the whole thing, but there's big pieces of the hull they've taken out and restored so that people could see. I actually got to go to the Las Vegas exhibit when they were doing it at the Luxor, and it was absolutely freaking incredible just to stand near a piece of the hull and see how massive this thing was, and just it's just amazing how much life was lost, and oh my god, it's so crazy. But of course I'm obsessed with rediscovering old things. Those are the things I'm obsessed with because I was an art history major, and so the other things that I care about with rediscovery and exploration and stuff is going back and finding cool digs that we've rediscovered, the terracotta soldiers in China.
Oh yeah.
That was super cool. They're there to guard you in the afterlife, and it was completely hidden under just generations of dust and dirt.
Dude, and that
rock.
guy was crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
The terracotta army was not even his craziest thing that he did.
Yep. Yep. No, I know. I guess no one's actually ever been inside of his actual tomb.
Really?
Near the terracotta army. They still haven't ever opened up his tomb. It's just
nah, we don't want to mess with that. We have no idea what kind of bad juju that's
gonna... There's bound to be a King Tut kind of curse on that, so it's fine.
So,
but
before you run too far off, it was really ironic that you picked the Titanic, because on my way home on the radio, I heard that there are tickets going that are around $100,000 a ticket. This company
for the new ship that they're doing it.
Yeah, something called Ocean Gate. They will take you in a submersible down to the wreck of the Titanic. So if you can just find a spare $100,000, then
I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, you could just take this tour. It's from May next year. A London-based tour operator, Blue Marble Private, will run 8-day trips to the Titanic's final resting place.
That's so crazy. So the other thing I thought you were going with is they are building an exact replica of the Titanic.
This sounds like a really good idea.
That can only end well.
Right.
I know, right? and I want to go on it like so bad, but I think it was something crazy,
I'm
like
gonna have to-
$80,000 for a ticket,
So-
and like
Didn't they do that, and didn't that one also sink? Didn't Titanic have a sister ship that also sank?
Weren't there? I thought there was more. Are you talking about the Lusitania?
No. Well, what? Oh, I can't remember what it was called. I want to say it was the Queen Mary, but I'm not sure.
Cat?
Google. So what I was looking up, Titanic
Elevator music.
sister. Right, it's fine.
I'm so glad we're not videoing me right now.
Well, there was the HMS.
Oh, the Britannic?
Yeah, the Britannic and the Olympic.
Again, you're gonna get us flagged on YouTube.
I feel like if they can put Avengers scenes to it, we can have it playing softly in the background.
Yeah. So the Britannic actually was lost during the First World War. So I think it eventually did sink.
But it wasn't necessarily because of just.
It was. I mean, it was in a war, so
It is.
that makes
Okay.
sense that it sank.
Oh, apparently. Yeah, as the largest ship to be lost in the First World War, the vessel is also currently the largest passenger ship on the seafloor.
Yikes.
So that might actually be bigger than the Titanic.
That sounds...
Sank after an explosion on 21 November 1916 near Kia in the Aegean Sea.
Oh, so was it built afterwards? Well, it has to.
Yes.
The Titanic was the biggest one.
Right, so it was
And then they
launched.
decided to make a bigger one.
Right. Yeah, so Titanic sank in 1912. The Britannic wasn't even completed until 1915, the December of 1915.
Huh.
And it was in service from the 23rd of December 1915 to November of 1916.
Surprisingly, it seems like only 30 people died. The
Oh, that's
Britannic.
good.
Wow.
Well, maybe they learned their lesson with
Instead of the whole
lifeboats.
damn
They
ship.
had more lifeboats. They had way more lifeboats.
So, by the
Right.
way, the Olympic had a long-lasting career spanning 24 years from 1911 to 1935.
Wow, look at it go.
Look at it
When
go.
you say Olympic, I immediately think the Olympic character from the Olympic carrier from Battlestar Galactica, and go in a whole other direction.
That's awesome.
About large ships with people that don't make it.
Right.
So,
And it looks like instead of crashing, this one got scrapped.
yeah. So the
So
Olympic,
it was retired of its own accord.
and it
So what the heck
retained
was
its...
I thinking? What was the Lusitania?
The Lusitania is it is another ship that I'm reading the book by Eric Larson right now about the Lusitania. But that one, it's a British ocean liner
Of
that a
course.
German submarine sank in World War One, causing
Okay,
a
so it
major
still sank.
diplomatic uproar. Yeah. So
Okay.
it did in fact sink,
So
and it
it's
does
still
kind
in
of
the
resemble the
British
Titanic.
boats that sank category.
Yes, but that one partially collapsed wreck, and that one was 1907.
Oh.
Or it was in service to 1915, so it sank a few years after the Titanic, but that was also lost in World War One.
So I totally
Big
lied.
ass ships.
The Queen Mary was fine, had a very long lifespan, and the Olympic retained the title of the largest British-built liner until the Queen Mary was launched in 1934.
Because we just have to keep building bigger boats.
Right.
Well, yeah. More boats.
More boats.
More boats.
You get
Boats,
a boat.
boats,
and
boats.
You get a
Can
boat.
that be just more boats and snow?
More boats. Boats and snow and boats and snow and boats and snow.
And boats.
Mountains.
So the other thing I was gonna of course, discoveries of things and things that were lost. Obviously Pompeii is also up there, just to throw it out there. I love
my God.
I freaking love Pompeii. It's
Volcanoes.
amazing. I think it's incredible.
Oh my god, volcanoes.
Disasters are amazing. And volcanoes. See, I needed like that one.
Disasters are amazing.
But of course, since we were talking about like exploration and like, fun things that happen with exploration, I remembered watching an episode of Mysteries at the Museum, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a funny story because it's like more of an unconventional like exploration type situation or unconventional type of exploration. In 1982, a guy named Larry Walters from Los Angeles decided that since his dream of being like in the Air Force and a pilot had been completely squashed and killed because his eyesight was too bad, he tied he purchased 45 weather balloons from the Army Navy surplus store, tied them to his tethered lawn chair, dubbed the Inspiration 1, and filled 4-foot diameter balloons with helium. He armed himself with some sandwiches, Miller Lite, and a pellet gun. He strapped himself into his lawn chair, and off he went. And he thought, I'm just going to float lazily like 30 feet above my backyard. This is fine. And then I'll just pop the helium balloons with my pellet gun to bring myself back to the ground. But little did he know that as soon as they released the tether, he shot into the air like out of a cannon. And he ended up leveling off not at 100 feet, not at 1,000 feet, but 16,000 feet into the air. And by then, he was too afraid. He was too afraid to start shooting the helium. So he sat there for 14 hours, like floating in space, basically, until he finally started to get up the courage to shoot it, and eventually crossed the primary approach corridor of LAX. And he startled the Trans World Airline and Delta Airline pilots. And so eventually he hit a power line, blocking out part of Long Beach for 20 minutes. And he eventually got fined a pretty hefty fine. And he is on the Darwin Awards list. And I just thought that was kind of a cool. Yeah, he survived.
Huh.
Yep.
Huh.
Oh, fun. Apparently, he never married and had no children, and Larry hiked into the forest and shot himself on October 6, 1993.
It's probably for the best that he didn't spawn more people. Like, I don't think you want that in the gene pool. Come on. What, 60,000? Right?
Of...
feet?
Which part, sorry? No, 16,000.
16,000. Yeah. Okay,
but still, like 16,000 feet. Like, you are in like airplane territory.
And he hit power lines. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think the actual like chair itself is now in a museum somewhere. They've actually they finally were able to locate the actual chair or whatever. And
was it burnt?
Put it in a museum. I don't know.
It hit the power lines
so. But yeah, Miller Lite, sandwiches, and a pellet gun.
Oh my god.
Like, that is life.
It said that after his fight, he was briefly in demand as a motivational speaker.
Why?
Oh.
Of how not to live your life?
And sandwiches?
About how to just do what you want to do.
Live your dream, man!
I'm not letting my eyesight keep me down. I'm gonna be a pilot of a lawn chair.
Oh.
Now I feel lazy because that's also what kept me from being able to be a pilot.
You could have tied helium balloons to your Sears lawn chair, and you didn't. You missed out on an intense opportunity.
We can still make this
happen. But I'm
happen.
still alive, so I can still do this.
That's true.
There's still time.
You have not gone into the woods and shot yourself.
And to be fair, if we go to the top of Pikes Peak, we could maybe top his record. So if we just start up there and let you go, just bam, done.
Maybe we do less than 45 helium balloons.
Right, like 44.
Let's do less than that.
On the list of things.
Like 44.
To do as a group.
Right. Yeah. Group activities.
Group activities.
I will get the sandwiches.
Field trip.
Good news, we're going to have your Jeep to tie you to. So that was an important step.
Oh, and instead of Miller Lite, we can have...
anything else.
Wine.
Literally anything else.
Right.
This is fine.
Kali is not going back up to Pikes Peak. She can't. My poor Jeep cannot. It has nightmares about it. Sometimes I hear it whimpering in its sleep.
Right. The brakes cry out in pain on the way down.
I had to stop so many times because there was so much smoke.
So by the way, guys, if you've never been to the top of a 14,000-foot mountain before, on the way down, they make you stop at Pikes Peak. Like, just, what is it? It's not even, it's somewhere around like 11,000 feet, I think, or 10,000 feet they make you stop. It's
Probably
it's
something.
pretty high
Yeah.
up there still. Like, you're pretty close to the top, but they make you stop and they do a brake check on you. So they have a little heat gun that checks how hot your brakes are, and
It's
they will make you
past-
sit.
Yeah, it's past the tree line, but the thing is, the way you pass that test is because your brakes don't get hot till you're on your way back down.
Right. Yeah, so they make you stop, and they make you sit in your
Want to know
car.
how to get past that test? In a 99 Cherokee
It's fine.
that's mostly drunk and middle-aged.
Oh my god.
So real quick before we wrap up, I do want to talk about kind of two of my favorite female explorers. One of them, of course, being Sacagawea, because that chick is just ballin'. She was a teenager when she first joined the Lewis and Clark expedition, and she is really the entire reason that they made it across the United States. She helped them
The entire
navigate.
reason.
Yep, because they were completely screwed up until she was hanging out with them. So she really kind of pioneered the way, even though they get all the credit.
Right.
And then the one other one that
A coin that doesn't even mean anything.
Right, she got a gold coin for a couple of years that nobody wanted to use. It was kind of sad and messed up. But it is a gold coin. It was pretty.
I have one of those.
I have one.
Yeah, I have one too. I kept it because it was pretty.
Exactly. The other chick I want to mention is Isabella Bird. She spent much of her life as a world traveler, and she published a couple books about her travels. But she also came to Colorado, and she journeyed up to the top of Pikes Peak and had a cabin home in Estes Park. And she also dated, like, this guy here. There was some guy named, oh gosh, can I find his name? Where did his name go?
Named Guy.
That
Because
guy.
he's more important than him. No,
That guy.
Okay.
Have no idea, but like his last name was like Nougat or something, or Nugget or something like that.
Nugent? Like
First
Ted
name-
Nugent?
Yeah,
Knicker.
and she described him as like this guy that like no woman would ever marry, and she dated him for like a couple of years or something like that, and then she like promptly left, and he literally died in a gunfight like a year later.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Make it famous.
she was like, "I'm gonna roll out here, I'm gonna bang you for a bit, and then I'm out."
Deuces.
Deuces. She also traveled to China and Japan and the Middle East, and a whole bunch of other countries across the world. So she was really a world traveler, and she was just pretty amazing. She was also the first woman to be elected a Fellow of the Royal Geographic Society.
That's cool.
So up until 1892, women were not inducted into that society, and she was the first.
That's neat. Good for her.
Good for her.
Get it, girl.
And she was ridiculously sick all the time, too. And that's kind of part of the reason she came out to Colorado, is because she thought that, you know, as we've talked
Like
about
everyone.
in one of our other episodes, that they thought that the cure for tuberculosis was, you know, coming up and getting some fresh mountain air. And we realized
Right.
that's not true at all. But, you know,
It's fine.
it's fine. She hung out here for a minute. It's cool.
She knows what's up.
Yeah, she took a 3,000-mile horseback trip across the Front Range.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh.
Right? 3,000 miles around Colorado. That's insane.
There's apparently a school named after her in Denver.
There is a lot of stuff named after her. I was kind of like, as I was doing like some research on her, you could find all kinds of stuff, and I've never heard of her before. So that was kind of crazy.
That's kind of cool.
So yeah,
Colorado history, folks.
Colorado history. Dropping some knowledge snow bombs on your face.
Knowledge snowballs to the face.
So that's it for our episode today, guys. I'm Kiri.
I'm Meru.
I'm paying the phone cat.
And Alice.
And this has been your adventure with Sheekery!
Woo!